What up, my dudes? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be making Julia Child's Beef Bourguignon. I feel like I have peanut butter. Say it again, babe.
Beef Bourguignon.
Beef bong bong, everybody. Let's get started.
So we're going to get our prep work out of the way because it's going to make this a lot easier in the long run. We're going to go ahead and peel 2 carrots. Mine are kind of a small medium size because that's all the grocery store had. And then we're going to give them a rough chop. Nothing fancy here. You can do them on a little bit of angle if you want. Next we're going to take 6 cloves of garlic and put 2 away for later. And we're going to dice up 4 of them. Just a little rough dice. Take an onion. Then we're just going to chop it in the quarters like so. Nothing fancy here. Then we're going to take a bunch of pearl onions and we're going to painstakingly cut the tops and bottoms off them and remove that outside skin. Next we're going to take some small baby portobello mushrooms, 1 container's worth, and just cut them into quarters after we've washed them and destemmed them. Next take those 2 garlic cloves that we saved from earlier and we're just going to add that to the plate with our mushrooms. Those are going to get sauteed together later. This is a cheesecloth bag. I got this as a gift, I think, from somebody. These things are pretty awesome, but unnecessary if you don't have them. Go ahead and put 2 bay leaves into it, about 3 sprigs of thyme, and about 2 tablespoons of roughly chopped parsley that's been destemmed. That's going to go inside that bag too. You can also just tie these together with some kitchen twine or regular cheesecloth, but I got the bag, so I'm going to use it. Next, we're going to get 2 to 3 pounds of chuck roast. We're going to chop these into cubes, about 1 inch to 2 inches. And we're going to cut out any major hard fat. We don't want that in there. It's not going to render down. Next, we're going to grab ourselves some short rib, about 1 pound to 2 pounds. And we're going to debone the rib from the meat, but we are going to save those ribs for later. Make sure you follow the bone as closely as possible as you do this. These are going to add a lot of flavor to our stock. Add that to the rest of our meat. Make sure you chop those in the little cut-sized pieces too. Next, we're going to grab 6 strips of bacon. We're just going to go ahead and give those a rough chop so they're little dice pieces. Then we're going to go ahead and brown them off in our pot of choice. I'm using a Dutch oven. Once they're nice and brown, we're going to go ahead and take those bacon strips out, save them for later. Then we're going to go ahead and sear our beef inside that bacon fat. It's going to add a lot of flavor. Stop when it looks like this color. Next, we're going to take and add our carrots, garlic, and onions, and go ahead and just saute those lightly until they're slightly translucent. Then we're going to go ahead and remove them from the pot. And finally, we're just going to go ahead and sear off those beef short rib bones and add our carrots and garlic back to it along with our beef once those are seared. And then we're going to pour in 1 bottle of pinot noir. I'm using 19 Crimes because I like to keep it gangsta in my kitchen. And then we're going to go ahead and scrape off that fond from the bottom. And any beef drippings that were on our plate, we're going to go ahead and pour that back in there too, because that's a lot of flavor. Next, take a cheesecloth and add your onions and your beef bones to it. Wrap it up, tie it off like this. It's going to keep those onions from turning into mush inside the stew, but it'll let their flavor come out. And then we're going to add 2 cups of beef broth. I like mine to be a little bit more winey than brothy. Add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, preferably way earlier than when I did. And then go ahead and add a teaspoon of better bouillon or 1 bouillon cube. This is going to add a lot of flavor to our broth. Again, probably should have added that sooner, but whatever. We do it whenever. Now we're going to add that little herb satchel to our broth. And just poke it in there, let it submerge. Cover it with our top, slightly cracked. And then we're just going to slow simmer this. That's boiling way too hard. We're going to slow simmer this for 2 hours until it's reduced a little bit like this. Pull out our bag. And then go ahead and if you got really tough hands like I do, squeeze the juice out of that bag while it's piping hot, making sure to burn yourself. Then we're going to add our pearl onions to this. Stir them all together. And we're going to simmer this for another hour. 10 minutes before this is done, we're going to put some butter into a frying pan and add our garlic and mushrooms. And we're just going to saute those up until they turn a nice brown. Oh yeah, look at that liquid come out of it. They should look like this when they're done. Go ahead and drop those into our beef bong bong. And then we're going to stir those in there and let it simmer for another 5 minutes. You can do this without the top on at this point. After which we're going to taste our broth and we're going to adjust it for salt and pepper. Next we're going to grab a plate. Put some mashed potatoes that I didn't tell you to make until now. You can curse me if you want. And then we're going to go ahead and spoon over our beef bong bong with some broth and add a piece of parsley for garnish. Look at that. Look how beautiful this thing is. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? This is going to have a nice broth with a rich beefy flavor. Those pearl onions are going to be to die for. Now let's go ahead and get a taste test.
Alright guys, there's my beef beef bong bong. Now the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of bacon on top. Oh yeah. Gotta love that bacon. And now I'm going to go ahead and dig in and have a bite. I'm going to grab one of these pearl onions first. Mmm. It was such a rich sauce. Oh my god, that meat is fall apart tender. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, it just melts in your mouth. Oh, mashed potatoes are such a good compliment for this. This is so good all around. You gotta make this. This is delicious. Alright, I'm gonna go eat my dinner. Cut the future Marshall. And there you have it, folks. A delicious beef.
Bourguignon.
A delicious that. Anyway, let me know what you'd like me to make next. Like, comment, and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. And as always, toodles.